So very good afternoon to one and all. All participants are requested to open the camera. Resource person has joined our cloud meeting. Gaurav, kindly make roll number 85 as a co-host. Already you have made. Thank you. Dr. Atique Ahmed
Yes, sir.
sir has joined our cloud meeting. So on behalf of UGC Malviya Mission Teachers Training Center, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Chhatrapati Sambhaji Nagar, I welcome him. He is a distinguished academician and researcher currently serving as a professor and head Department of Computer Science and Engineering Department at Sant Garge Baba Amravati University. He also holds the position of Director UGC MMTTC of the same university. He holds a PhD in computer science engineering along with MEB in the same field. Additionally, he has pursued MBA in HRM and LLB. His area of expertise include AI, soft computing, and medical image processing. With over 34 years of teaching experience, including 12 years as a professor, Dr. Atique has mentored 15 PhD scholars and three ongoing PhD scholars are there and two MPhil students. His research contribution includes 68 publications with 48 Scopus Index paper across international and national journal and conference. He has also been an innovator holding three granted patents and seven published patent in Indian Patent Journal, along with five copyrights. Additionally, he has authored two books published by Lambert, Germany and Eschan, New Delhi. Dr. Atique has played a key role in academic and research development, having executed a 1.2 crore student access center project and UGC-sponsored major research project. He is an NBA NAC assessor and trainer and has been actively involved in curriculum designing at Sant Garge Baba Amravati University as a Board of Study Chairman and Academic Council member. He has delivered over 106 expert lectures, chaired multiple international and national conferences, and participated in 52 week of training program. He is also a fellow and life member of several prestigious professional bodies including IETE, IISTE, CSI, and IJCNN, USA. His academic and influence extend beyond national borders, having attended international conference at Greece. Dr. Atique continued to contribute significantly to the field of computer science and engineering, fostering research and innovation in emerging technology. So once again, I welcome Dr. Atique Ahmed sir, and I would now hand over the session to him. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Very good afternoon to one and all present here. I hope I am loud and clear.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you very much for the opportunity, and I hope we will touch upon one important aspect of NEP 2020, that is the integration of technology in teaching and research. Right. So few years down the line, if somebody says you are not computer literate, people used to say you are illiterate, right? I'll extend that definition. In today's scenario, if you are not AI literate, people will call you as you are illiterate, right? So even though we'll be talking on ICT, but our focal point would be that is how to take AI as a tool, right, in general, and teaching and research in particular. So having said this, we are all teachers, right? Earlier, we used to have some choices, right? My personal observation is now we do not have any choice whether we do use ICT. The question is how well we do it, right? So having said this, just allow me to share my presentation, right? And I will be with you for approximately 3 hours or 180 minutes. Okay, so I have divided my presentation into two parts. In the first session, we will have some theoretical foundation. We'll just try to understand this technology, what this AI is all about. Okay, and I very well understand that I am addressing to diverse people from various faculties and discipline. So we'll not use a lot of technical jargons. Okay, but at the same time, we need to understand this technology, right? So with this few words, just allow me to share my presentation. Right. I hope my slides are visible to you.
No, sir.
Just check it out. Now I have shared it.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Just make it full screen.
Yes, yes, yes. So I hope the slides are visible to you and we are in a presentation mode and slides are changing, right? Somebody has to confirm, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much for the response. As I said, we'll be touching upon one important aspect of this NEP 2020, that is the integration of ICT in general or AI in particular for teaching, learning, and research. Right. So, having said this, this is what is there on the agenda. That is, we'll start with from scratch. I presume that you don't have any background in computers and so on. But let me be very clear. That is today's era wherein we have got everything tool based. Okay, we need not have to have any background in computer science. Let's say if you want to use all these tools. So I will actually demonstrate in the second session. That is how you can make use of these tools and without typing a single word, how you can do lot many things, right? Starting from say generating course material or source guide to research papers and whatnot, right? So we'll start with what is AI, then what are intelligent systems, then what is soft computing, what are the constituents of soft computing, various terminologies used in this area. Okay, then we'll dig upon one important problem which is associated with this technology, what they call it as the black box problem in AI. Okay, so what are the consequences of that black box problem and what is the solution? So this is how we'll run through in the first session, wherein, as I have told you, that is we'll build a strong foundation of this technology, right? And in the second session, we'll have some hands-on on some of the tools, right? So wherein I'll demonstrate that is how you can make use of all these tools. Okay, and we'll also touch upon some gray areas of this technology, wherein one of the gray area is what they call it as the ethical use or what they call it as the responsible use of AI. So we will go through all those aspects, right, during our deliberations, right? So let me begin my talk with what they call it as the definition of AI. Okay, I don't know how many of you are from computer science, but those who are from computer science, they may find little bit 10 to 15 minutes very fundamental, but they have to bear with me because this talk is intended for everybody. So I very well know that there are people from arts and humanities, okay, and maybe commerce and management and so on. So that's why I've kept it on a very fundamental level. So let me begin with what is AI, okay. And I would love to hear from you. Let's say if any one of you can come forward and define what is AI or what is your perception about AI. So I don't know whether you enjoy that right or not, right? But if it is so, if any one of you can unmute and you can go ahead with some little bit, you can say perspective on AI, I'll be happy to listen. Okay. It seems that you do not enjoy that, right? Anyway, so doesn't matter. Okay, so we'll start with what is AI. So before moving ahead, or rather directly starting with AI, we need to understand what is human intelligence, right? So, what is human intelligence? What do you feel? What human intelligence is all about? If you look at the uh, intelligence capacity of a human being, we are having three or four peculiar characteristics which are present in us. Okay, which makes us different from all other, you can say, the living organism on the earth. So, the very first one is our ability to learn. So we as a human being, right now you are undergoing this course, wherein again you are learning certain things, certain new things you are learning. So we do have learning capabilities. The second important component is the reasoning capability. That is, whenever we take some decision, we have got some reasons to take that decision. So we can very well justify that how we arrive at that particular decision. So the second important component of human intelligence is what they call it as the reasoning capability. Third, which is I feel personally that which is the most important aspect is when you have been trained in a particular domain. Okay, we are capable of taking decision in some challenging or altogether new situation, right? To make this idea a little bit clear, okay, let me give few analogies, okay, which will help you in understand that is what I'm referring to. Say, for example, whenever you learn how to drive a car, most of the times we learn driving a car in very ideal condition, like say on playgrounds or on highways. But that kind of a scenario you will not face all the time in your life. So when you face, let's say, if you are driving in a downtown kind of a situation wherein you are facing huge traffic, so in that case, you will never ever call your trainer and ask that what to do next. Instead, you will apply your knowledge, whatever knowledge you are acquired during the training or the learning, right? That knowledge you will apply to that new condition. So we as a human being, we are capable of navigating to novel or challenging situation. Okay. So having talked about human intelligence, on the similar line, we have what they call it as the artificial intelligence. Okay. So what is AI? AI is nothing but the study of mechanism that think and act like human. So the very and the foremost characteristic is the thinking capability and acting like humans. Acting like human meaning thereby taking decisions, analyzing or comprehending the phenomena or object, and then so on and so forth. Right. So having said this, the another very, you can say, layman's definition of AI is it is any technique which which mimic human behavior. Okay. So mimicking human behavior, okay, tells everything about all those aspects which we have dealt with when it comes to human intelligence. So let's say if we are in a position to incorporate these things into a machine, we may call that machine as an intelligent machine, right? So to be very specific, whenever you want to term any machine as a intelligent machine, we have to have these four characteristics present in them. And what are those characteristics? The very first characteristic is the intelligence itself. What does this mean? It's intelligence meaning their system must perform some meaningful operation. Okay. Then the system must be capable of interpreting information, just like you and I, we are capable of interpreting information. Third is the comprehension capabilities. That is the relations between the phenomena or object. That is comprehending the relation between phenomena or object, meaning thereby, let's say if I give you the relationship between X and Y and Z, okay, so you can very well deduce the relationship between X and Z, right? So having said this, these three things plus the last one, that is when you train all these machines in a particular domain, they are capable of applying that knowledge, whatever they have acquired during training or learning, into altogether new condition, right? So now if you look around, right, whether you are sitting at home or you are in office, okay, if you simply look around, there are very many things which are the manufacturers claim that they are intelligent some way or the other. Say for example, the air conditioner installed in your office, or maybe the washing machine you are using at your home, right? All these things are nowadays they are you can say marketed as if they are intelligent machines some way or the other. So how intelligence has been incorporated into these small gadgets? Okay, the answer is pretty simple. Okay, say for the sake of example, if you are dealing with a washing machine kind of a scenario, okay, wherein you are dealing with 3 to 4 parameters. That is, what are the parameters normally we dealt with in case of washing clothes? Okay, the type of clothes. Okay, then you can say the amount of hot and cold water which is supposed to be mixed, the amount of detergent is to be mixed, and then what kind of you can say the washing mechanism one has to apply. Okay. So let's say if we devise around 27 or 30 odd rule, and we embed these rules into a small chip, what they call it as the microcontroller chip, and we place that microcontroller chip in action into your washing machine, that microcontroller chip will take control of all the components installed in the washing machine, and it will behave as if some human being is taking decisions, right? So same thing can be applied to your air conditioners, right? It goes automatically on and off. It increases or decreases the temperature depending upon the need. Okay, so it is all sort of automation. Okay, so this is one aspect of this intelligent system, right? Now, having said this, we need to look at how this technology has evolved, right? And some of you may be feeling that this technology is altogether new. Let me be very clear on this front that this technology is not at all new. Okay, if you look at the historical perspective of AI, this term was very first time tossed by John McCarthy way back in 1956. Okay, when he was attending an international conference, and that conference took place in Dartmouth, United Kingdom. Okay, it is an institute which is again there. They are the pioneer in this technology AI, right? So there he tossed this particular term very first time, that is artificial intelligence. So this is not at all new, right? But what has happened, that is during few 2 to 3 years, maybe last 5 years particularly, okay, a lot of applications have been built using this technology, and that is why, okay, we are feeling the heat, okay. But if you look at the you can say the historical perspective, the technology is quite old, okay, maybe around 75 to 80 years history is there. And how it has evolved initially with what they call it as the traditional AI. Then nowadays, whatever we refer to, whatever AI we refer to machine learning capabilities. Then deep learning is there, and at present we are in the era of generative AI. So wherein lot of application has been built on this generative concept, okay, or Gen AI concept, right? So we'll dig upon all those dimensions. Okay, so we'll start with what is you can say the traditional AI. So if you look at the traditional AI, what is it? It is the ability or giving computers ability to do tasks that traditionally only humans have been able to do. Okay, let me clarify in very simple terms. Say, for example, you want to develop a system for medical diagnosis. Okay, so what you can do, you can contact, let's say it is, to be very specific, medical diagnosis system for homeopath practitioner. Okay. So in that case, what you will do, you will approach some homeopath practitioner. Okay. You will ask him, that is how he approach a patient whenever some patient visit to his or her clinic. Okay. How he dealt with it. Okay. So maybe he used to ask some people, the medical practitioner, normally they take history. Okay. And they record various symptoms and so on. And they arrive at some conclusion. Okay. This is a typical process of, you can say, and then they go for the prescription of medicine or something like that. Okay. So what we can do in case of traditional AI, wherein the earlier system, what they used to call it as the expert system, wherein what do? We frame those rules, whatever interaction we had with the homeopath practitioner, we frame them in the form of if then else rules. Okay. That is, if the symptom is so and the another symptom is so, then this is probably the cause, right? So ask the human expert, how do they do it? Okay, write down as if then else rules, explicitly program these rules into computers. Okay, the typical examples are like, say, playing chess or homeopathy expert or maybe washing machine, as I've elaborated just now, right? So the traditional AI, the issue was it was explicitly programmed like any other thing, right? In computers, whenever we talk about computers, we talk about programming the computers, right? So we need to know some or the other language, okay? And these programmings normally it used to took place either in C or Java, or nowadays a lot of tool-based things are happening. But I'm talking about the early evolution. Okay, so these rules you can frame. Okay, if then else rules, any high language. Okay, and then you expose, let's say, to it to any new condition. Okay, and then what it will do, it will come out with some or the other answer. But let's say if it is not there, say for example, in case of a homeopathy expert, okay, if you are dealing with a COVID-like scenario, okay, wherein the symptoms are altogether different, okay, it is not matching with any earlier diseases. Okay, so in that case, what it will do, it will come out with a no match found kind of answer, because it is beyond the scope of those if then else rules. Okay, it is not possible for the system to classify it in terms of any XYZ or ABC disease. Okay, so there were limitations with these traditional AI systems. Okay, what are those issues or the limitation? The very first one was time intensive. That is, okay, you need to interact with the expert. Okay, you need to understand, that is, how do they solve any particular problem or diagnose a particular disease. Okay, and after doing so, you need to program it. Okay, and the second important issue with this traditional AI was, that is, it doesn't generalize to new situation, which I think I have already told you. That is, if you fed symptoms which are not there in the rule base, it will come out with something like, say, I'm sorry, it is beyond the scope of my rule base. I'm really sorry to identify the disease. Okay, something like that. And the another important aspect is, many times it is bit difficult for any one of us. So, okay, whatever job you are doing, okay, it is bit difficult for us to exactly narrate how we take real life decisions, right? Real time decisions. That is, we human being know more than we tell. Okay, so हम भले ही थोड़ा सा आपको कुछ चीज पे बताएंगे as a doctor, लेकिन कुछ चीजें ऐसी है जो inherently they are there, and that's why we categorize people as that fellow is good in that area. Okay, so we human being know more than we tell. So it is not possible to tell everything, whatever approach we adopt while arriving at a particular decision. So we cannot write down rules for all possible situations. That was the another bottleneck. You know, that was the another limitation of this traditional AI systems. And let's say if you are dealing with a problem wherein the number of parameters are disproportionately large. Say, for example, in case of washing machine, you are dealing with only 3 or 4 parameters. So 27, 30 rules are enough to deal with any kind of a scenario. But let's say if you are dealing with a image classification or recognition system wherein the number of parameters are in hundreds, okay, so it may lead to maybe millions of, you can say, permutation and combination, right? So how to deal with that is technically it is called as the combinatorial explosion. That is while dealing with complex problem, that kind of a scenario may arise. So these traditional issues, we are having some problems, some issues. I hope you are getting me. That is, it was a bit difficult to jot down each and every rule. Okay, and many times if you are dealing with a very complex problem, it is a bit difficult to deal with the number of combination, okay, which may arise due to the complexity of the problems and so on. So traditional AI was having a lot of problems associated with it, and that's why what has happened, we moved to what they call it as the machine learning kind of a thing, right? But we need to understand at the same time, the traditional approaches are many times referred to as black boxes. Okay, and this black box issue is still there, even though we are living in the era of generative AI. We'll touch upon this black box issue in the probably at the fag end of our session. Okay, so but black box problem is again there. Okay, rule based system, as I have told you, crisp and bivalent. Okay, large rule bases, so definitely very time consuming to search. Okay, so I very well remember when I did my masters, okay, probably in 97 98. Okay, so I worked on handwritten numerals, and we used to write program in C for these neural network structures and so on. So the training time was in days, not in minutes or hours, right? So again, those things were there. That is the large rule bases, okay, which lead to large amount of training time and so on. So traditional systems or traditional AI-based systems were having a lot of issues associated with them. Okay. Then what has happened? Gradually, we moved to what they call it as machine learning. Okay. Now, whenever we are talking in today's context, AI, we are talking about inherently we are talking about machine learning. So, what is machine learning? We'll just try to understand. Okay. So, in the earlier traditional approach, as you must have understood, that it is with regard to explicitly programming. Okay, framing if then else rules, coding those rules in some high level language, and developing systems. Okay, for the some task. Okay, for some specific task like say chess or maybe any homeopath diagnosis system, something like that. Right. In this case, in case of machine learning, instead of explicitly telling the computer what to do, what do? We provide computers with lots of examples of inputs and outputs. Okay. So this is what we call it as data. Okay. Data in terms of input, that is for this input, this is the output, for this input, this is the output, something like that. So we do not write explicit program just like in case of traditional AI. Rather, we provide machines with inputs and outputs. Okay. And then what do we do? Next step is we apply some statistical technique to learn the relationship between inputs and outputs. Okay. Now, these statistical techniques may be anything. Okay. There are ways and means. Okay. I'll show you in the next slide. Okay. There are n number of ways. But the most popular one is what they call it as the neural networks. Okay. Is the neural networks. So what the system will do, it will simply try to understand the relationship between the input and the output. Okay. So this way you need to provide thousands of data pair, input output data pair. Okay. And ask the machine to learn on its own. Okay. It will learn on its own through that data set, and definitely it will establish some relationship. This is a very broader picture of machine learning, right? So as I said, that is any statistical technique. So there are numerous possibilities like say linear regression, logistic regression, classification and regression, support vector machine, random forest, gradient descent, and last but not the least is the neural networks. So many times whenever we refer to machine learning, we are referring to neural networks. But that is not the only solution, right? There are many, but neural network is the most popular one, you can say, right? But having said this, we need to understand what are neural networks and how they have evolved, okay, and how what this structure is all about and how do they learn, okay. So these dimensions we'll just try to understand in little bit more detail in the next 10 to 15 minutes. So what is machine learning? Again, this technology suffers from some or the other problems. Again, it has got some limitation. Okay, what are the key issues with machine learning? The only problem is we have to have structured data. That is data that can be numeralized. And everything must be in terms of numbers. Okay, and to be very specific, numbers between 0 and 1. Okay, that is what we call them as we need to you can say normalize those numbers between 0 and 1. Okay, so we have to have structured data. And what do I mean by structured data? That is the data that can be numeralized. Say for example, in case of the homeopathy, okay, you may have answers to few questions as some text, yes or no. Okay, but what you need to do, you need to transform those things in the forms of number, and then you can give it to the neural network architecture, right? So many times we need to perform some pre-processing of data for achieving this. Okay, say for example, you are dealing with extracting certain images, certain features from an image. Okay, so what you need to do, you need to pre-process those parameters, okay, and get some numeralized value, and then you can feed it to the machine. Because these neural networks or any statistical method can derive some relationship between input and output when it has got some structured data at its disposal, right? If it is not, then definitely it won't work, right? So machine learning, this was the one of the biggest issue with the machine learning, right? Now let me tell you little, let me take you a little further. Okay, wherein there are two approaches. That is what we said: explicit programming and so on. Okay, so broadly speaking, whenever we talk about solving problem using computers, okay, we do have two approaches. One approach is what they call it as the uh, hard computing approach, and the second approach is what they call it as the soft computing or approximate modeling approach, right? So in case of traditional or hard computing approach, we have precise value of the parameters, right? Precise models are there, okay? So symbolic logic reasoning is being used, that is either something is true or something is false is there. Okay, traditional numerical modeling and such mechanisms are deployed in this case. Whereas in case of soft computing, we use approximate reasoning. Okay, let me elaborate further on this approximation, okay, because this is concept we need to learn. Okay, so if you look at human decision making process, okay, we take almost all our decision, daily life decision, day to day decision, based on approximation. I'll give you a few examples which will make your idea clear. That is how we are taking decision based on approximation. Let's say you are on a highway, okay, and you want to overtake a car which is just in front of you, right? Any vehicle which is moving simply ahead of you, you want to overtake that car. Now, how do you take this decision? Okay, whether you will ask the fellow to get down, and then you will get down from your car and you will measure the exact amount of space available to you, and then you push the accelerator, or the other way around, you simply look around, or you feel that enough space is available, then you push the accelerator and just try to overtake that vehicle. That decision, whatever decision you have taken, it is based on approximation, right? There is again possibility that if some vehicle is approaching you from the opposite direction, you may collide with. Okay, so the decision is again subject to right or wrong. But our all the decisions, let's say you are in a parking lot, okay, you want to park your vehicle, okay, you have got some space available, parking space available to you. Again, you will never ever get down and you will measure the exact amount of space with a measuring tape, and then you will take that parking decision. You will take decision based on approximation. You feel that enough space is there, you move ahead with the car. It may happen that you may collide with a wall, right? Or any obstruction in between, a column structure in between, or whatever, right? So our all the time our decisions are based on approximation. So that's why this soft computing based approach or AI based approach, it exploits this approximate reasoning for taking decision, right? So functional approximation and randomized search, these are the typical approaches typically used in case of soft computing approach or AI based approach, right? So hard computing, we have exact value. Soft computing, we do not have exact value, but still we take decisions, right? Still we try to compute, right? That is what is soft computing is all about. So soft computing, having said this, it is the symbiotic use of many engineering problem solving discipline. Okay. Now you need to understand this. That is, if you look at the bookish definition of soft computing, which has been defined by Professor Zadeh, who is also called as the father of soft computing. See, look at the very first word. It is in contrast to traditional hard computing. Soft computing exploit the tolerance for imprecision, uncertainty, and partial truth. Now we need to digest these three jargons. Okay, imprecision is you are not having precise value. Say, for example, washing mechanism, you don't have precise value what kind of cloth it is. Okay, you may be having sensors installed in your machine. Okay, but that decision is, again, you are not having exact kind of information, whether imprecise knowledge is there, uncertainty, word is full of uncertainties, and partial truth, meaning thereby nothing in the word is 100% true or 100% false. It is true to the degree of some truthfulness. Okay, and what is the advantage of having this kind of a setup is to find out solutions which are tractable, robust, low cost. As I said, by investing $1,000, you can transform a semi-automatic machine into a fully automatic machine, right? Low cost, okay, and better report with reality, right? Now, having said this, this is the era, that is the soft computing era is nothing but the area of the AI, whatever we call it as nowadays. Okay, and there are four constituents. Okay, it is ultimately aimed at mimicking human linguistic reasoning, and fuzzy systems are there, neural networks are there, evolutionary computing is there, probabilistic reasoning is there. Each one of them, they are good in some or the other area. Say, for example, fuzzy systems are good when you are dealing with imprecise knowledge or imprecisions. Neural networks has got the capability to learn. Probabilistic reasoning is applicable when you are dealing with uncertainty. Okay, and evolutionary computing is being used when you are dealing with some optimization problem. Okay, for example, ant colony optimization. Okay, so these are all biologically inspired algorithms. Okay, what they call it as the evolutionary computing algorithms. Okay, so wherein you have numerous algorithms available under each category, right? Now you may require it all depends what kind of problem you are dealing with. Okay, you may require a combination of any two or any three as per your own need. Say, for example, neuro fuzzy or fuzzy neuro or probabilistic reasoning and neuro fuzzy system. Okay, earlier, if you remember, maybe few years down the line, okay, particularly the washing machine, the manufacturer used to claim that it is fuzzy intelligent washing machine, right? So fuzzy logic is being exploited in that case, right? Now, having said this, we need to understand one again very important aspect with regard to this uh, AI is whenever we talk about computing, the very first things which comes to our mind is we are dealing with numbers. है ना? Computation बोला तो आपको क्या लगता है कि आप कोई ना कोई numbers से deal कर रहे हो. Okay, so let's say uh, for example, you want to compute addition of two numbers, say C is equal to A plus B. So A is having some value and B is having some value, and then you are computing C. Okay, let's say A is 3 and B is 2. So C is equal to 5, something like that. So whenever we talk about computation, meaning thereby by default, we are dealing with numbers. Now we'll just try to understand one small concept, that is it possible to compute with words? Okay, that is computing with words. Is it possible? Okay, this we'll just try to understand with a pretty simple example, what they call it as. This is again very classical example of understanding this concept. Okay, the question here is we want to compute Rekha's age. Okay, Rekha is a lady for the sake of example, and we want to compute her age. Okay, with regard to the lady Rekha, I am giving you two propositions. Proposition P1 is she has a son in mid-20s, and proposition P2 is she has a daughter in mid-30s. Okay, and the third proposition, which is well known to all of us, is the word knowledge. That is usually mother's age at birth of child is between approximately 20 or asterisk 20 for short, and approximately 40 or asterisk 40 for short. Now, with this much knowledge, is it possible to compute Rekha's age? What do you feel? Again, I don't know whether you enjoy the right to unmute yourself or not. Okay, but if it is so, I'll be happy to listen to your responses. number of participants are good enough. I think it is more than 85. Yes. What do you feel? Okay. Anyway, I realized that you don't have that right to unmute yourself. Anyway, that may be some administrative arrangements made by your MMTC, right? So anyway, having said this, we'll just try to understand that is how to compute with words, right? I am giving two proposition with regard to the lady called Rekha, okay, and they are English-like statement. That is, she has a son in mid-20s and she has a daughter in mid-30s. So what we need to do is we need to perform a small operation on these two statements, rather three, the third one again, right? That is the proposition three, which is the word knowledge. So we will transform these English-like statement into what they call it as the computation-ready word. Okay. And what does it mean? There is a small operation, what they call it as the preciation. So we will translate statement number one, rather proposition number P1, she has a son in mid-20s, as age son is asterisk 25. She has a son in mid-20s. So age son is asterisk 25. On the similar line, she has a daughter in mid-30s. So age daughter is asterisk 35. And the third one is the word knowledge. That is usually the mother's age at birth of child is between approximately 20 or asterisk 20 for short and approximately short 40 or asterisk 40 for short. Now we will translate this as well. So this would be age mother at birth is usually asterisk 20 comma asterisk 40. Okay, now what we will do, we will aggregate these three P1, P2, P3 and we can very well compute Rekha's age. So let us say we apply aggregation function. Age Rekha is asterisk 25 plus usually asterisk 20 asterisk 40 fusion, okay, asterisk 35 plus usually asterisk 20 asterisk 40. Now this will give you an exact value of Rekha's age. Okay, and her age, to be very specific, okay, her age would be 55. Okay, but let's say even if you don't know, yeah, uh, you don't know, you don't enjoy, I should say, the right to unmute yourself, but you can very well give your responses in chat as well, right? So wherein I feel that the attendance is going on, right? But that is the another way. Okay. All right. So what we are talking about, we are talking about that is how to deal with, rather how to compute with words. So this small concept, okay, that is computing with words. Again, there are different levels of CW. CW0, that is this example, whatever we have considered is CW0, wherein the carriers of informations are words. Okay. Then CW1, CW2, there are very many things. But this simple example has given birth to lot of real life problem solutions. Okay, particularly say dealing with natural language processing. Okay, now you feel you find it very common that you give some voice command and the system is capable of handling it, right? How come this is possible? This is possible just because of this technology. Okay, whatever we are talking about, that is AI and all. So NLP is one of the major area of you can say the AI. Okay, so appreciation, I think we have talked about. I'll not go into the details because there are a lot of technicalities involved, but our objective is not to go in those details. But to put it in simple word, you need to translate English-like statement into computation-ready word, right? And then you may process it with the help of a computer. That is what is the broad idea about this appreciation, right? Having said this, this small concept, as I said, has a lot of scope in terms of solving real life problem, like say natural language based systems modeling, specification and optimization. So you have solutions to numerous problems, okay, in the area of natural language processing by extending this concept, okay, and you may solve a number of problems. Say, for example, chatbots nowadays are very common. Okay, whenever you visit any website, so chatbot uses this technology, right? This concept, okay. It is nothing but the extension of this concept, right? Then you have that is the question answering machine I was referring to. That is search engine which typically use. Okay, some Siri or something will prop up. Okay, and it will ask you that is in what way I may help you. Okay, then you go ahead with typing some text and it will go on responding to your queries. Okay, so that is a chatbot nowadays. Earlier we used to have you can say the call centers for achieving this functionality. So gradually those jobs which requires some sort of routine activity, okay, they are being automated by this technology. That is again one of the biggest challenge. Okay, and that too for a nation like us, okay, wherein we have got a huge population. Okay, it may uh, kill some jobs. Okay, but at the same time, okay, it will create some new jobs as well. So we'll touch upon all those areas. Okay, but time being, you need to understand that this is how it is, right? Then machine learning. Okay, we'll just try to dig it little further. Okay, again, it is not at all new. 1959. Okay, so 56 I said AI, and 59 is machine learning. So if today we are in 2026. Okay, so it is not at all new. The only thing what has happened, the hardware has become drastically fast. Okay, and that has led to development of these applications quite easily. Okay, earlier there were limitations in terms of hardware. Okay, the processing speeds, but nowadays we have got GPUs and CPUs. Okay, which are capable of performing trillions of operation within seconds. Okay, and that has made this technology flourish. Okay, so having said this, machine learning, it is the ability to learn without being explicitly programmed. Now, here you are not coding anything, right? You are not writing explicit programming. What you are doing, you are building systems, neural networks, okay, and exposing those models with some input-output data pair, okay, and we are then compelling them to learn on their own using that data set. Okay. So how do they learn? That is what we are going to understand. So such algorithms followed programmed instruction, but can also make predictions or decision based on data. Okay. So they build a model from sample input. Okay. So input output data pair you provide. Okay. They build a model which can be generalized. Okay. If you just recall the problems associated with traditional AI, all those problems are overcome by this machine learning, right? So all those problems are overcome by this machine learning. They have got the capability to generalize. Okay. They have got the capability to be exposed to some altogether new conditions or new symptoms. Okay, so let's say if you are, it will give you, it will diagnose some or the other disease. That disease may be right or wrong. Okay, but it will give you some. Say for example, whenever you approach some doctor, and if that doctor says, this is the disease you are suffering from, so he is taking some decision. That decision may be right. That's why we go for a second opinion, right? So on the similar line, these systems are capable of mimicking human behavior on the very similar lines, right? Now, having said this, we need to understand what these structures are all about. So, definition of neural networks: it is a circuit composed of a very large number of simple processing elements that are neurally based. So, basically, these structures are inspired from biological neuron, that is human brain. Okay, they are inspired from human brain. Okay, it is a artificial neural network is the, you can say, the exact replica of your brain. That is the manner in which your brain function. On the similar line, these structures have been built, right? So what this structure is all about. Okay, now we need to understand at the same time, just like our brain has got certain capabilities. Okay, on the similar line, these neural networks again possesses all those peculiar characteristics which are associated with the human brain. So they are capable of acquiring new knowledge, storing that knowledge, and utilizing that knowledge for taking some decisions. Okay, just like our human brain, right? Once you undergo a training, what do? You catch hold of the acquire certain knowledge, you store that knowledge in your brain, and whenever you appear for the examination, okay, you apply that knowledge and try to craft your answers. Okay, okay. So on the similar line, these neural networks are capable of doing so, right? Knowledge acquisition, storing that knowledge, and utilizing that knowledge for experiential knowledge for decision making purpose. Now, these are some areas wherein this technology can be applied. Maybe it is microbiology, computer science, cognitive psychology, linguistic, philosophy, you name the area. This is again indicative, okay, not exhaustive list. And तो आप इसमें कहीं भी इसका प्रयोग कर सकते हैं. Now we need to understand that is how it has evolved. Okay, so as I was referring to, they are inspired from biological neuron. Okay, so what is there in a biological neuron or a neuron which is there in our brain? The structure is something like this. So we have dendrites, we have cell body, okay, we have axon. So input is given through these dendrites to the cell body, and then it is being processed by this cell body, and then it gives some output which is fed as input to the next neuron in the structure, and so on. So this way we have millions of neurons and they work together in a harmonious manner to take decision, right? To take decision. So this is one simple single neuron. On the similar line, we do have a artificial neural network. Okay, this is a single layer perceptron. This is the simplest structure. Okay, so this way in a neural network, you have millions or billions of you can say the neurons connected with each other, and they are capable of taking decision, working in a coherent manner to take certain decisions, right? But this is single unit we are referring to, just like we have a one neuron in our brain. On the similar line, this is one artificial neural network, right? So what is it? Again, there are x1 and x2 inputs, just like we do have dendrites here, okay, through which we feed the input. Okay, on the similar line, we have got these inputs. With each input, there is a weight associated. Okay, that is W1 and W2. Let's say I'm referring to x1, then it would be W1. If I'm referring to x2, it would be W2, and so on and so forth. Okay, so what do we do? And how do these systems learn? Okay, then the output, that is output, how it is computed. This is the cell body which is responsible for computing the output. So it will simply multiply this x1 with w1. That is y is equal to summation of x1 plus w1 plus x2 plus w2, and so on and so forth. Okay, till all the inputs have expired, right? Or exhausted, right? So we simply compute, we just try to find out, and this why, okay, during the learning process, what it will do, it will just try to find out the relationship between the x1 and x2. Okay, x1 and x2. All right, that is, say for the sake of example, in this case I have written a statement like, say, y is equal to 0.3 x1 plus 0.77 x2. So this is the relationship it has learned during the learning phase. Now, how do we train these networks? Okay, then we need to understand. So the learning or the training capabilities lies within these weights. So whenever we train these neural networks, okay, the weights are getting normalized. Okay, the weights are getting normalized. Okay, so as far as neural networks are concerned, information processing system, neuron process the information. The signals are transmitted by means of connection link. As you can see here, these arrows, okay, through which the signals are transmitted from one neuron to the another neuron, and so on. Okay, the link possesses an associated weight, that is W1. The output signal is obtained by applying activation to the net. What do? This is a little bit complex. We will not go into those details. Okay, whatever is the output, that is summation, it passes through some non-linearity. Okay, what they call it as the activation function. Okay, to be very specific, there are again a number of activation function, hard limiter, and so on. But the most popular one is what they call it as the sigmoidal activation function. So it goes through that activation function, and then you get the desired output. Right now, how do these neural networks learn? Okay, I'm giving you a very broad picture. We need to understand, since we are using all these tools, so we need to know that is how do they learn, right? And that is what is the objective of this particular session, first session. Okay, so we fed all these. Now earlier we have seen a single layer. Okay, now this is multi-layer perceptron. Okay, wherein we have got more than one. Okay, so we have x0, x1 up to xn. With each x0, we have a w0 associated with. Okay, so w0, w1 up to wn. As I said, the summation, that is summation xi wj, I is equal to 1 to n and j is equal to 1 to n. So what do? We sum up all those things, and then it goes through our activation function. So in the first one, what do? We provide, we cannot change the input. Okay, input will remain intact. Okay, and we start with some random weight initially. Okay, random weight meaning thereby any value between 0 and 1 is the valid value for the weights. Let's say you are taking a mean. Okay, you are starting with 0.5. आपने क्या किया पहले रन में, you have started with 0.5, okay, and then you just try to compute the output. Let's say the actual output is 0.8 and the desired output is 1.2. Okay, what is your desired output? Desired output is 1.0, but in the first run, when you take the value of 0.5 as all the weights, Okay, what you are getting 0.8 as the answer. Okay, so what do? We compute the error, that is 1 minus 0.8, 0.2 is the error. Okay, that is the error. In the next run, what do? We either, now we cannot change the input. Okay, what is left in our hand is to only modify the value of weights. Okay, because as I have told you, that is during training, what happens is the weights are getting normalized. Okay, normalization of weight took place. Okay, so in the next one, what we will do, we'll just try to increase it by delta, let's say 0.1. So earlier it was 0.5. Now we'll make it 0.6 and then again observe the result. Okay, so let's say in the first run you were getting 0.8 as the output. Okay, and now you are getting 0.9 as the output. What does this mean? That you are in the right direction. Okay, so you go on increasing the weight till you get the minimal error, and at that point of time you need to stop. So this is a very broad picture of, you can say, the training or the learning. Okay, if you just recall in machine learning, what I have told you, that is you need to provide some input output data pair, okay, to the system, and they go on learning. Okay, and how do they learn? They learn the relationship between the inputs, okay, and the outputs, right? So this is how now this one cycle, that is when you start from input layer till you reach the output layer, this is called as one epoch or one iteration, to put it in mathematical terms or neural network terminology. It is called as a epoch, one epoch. So you may go for 500 epoch, 1000 epoch, depending upon the complexity of the problem, right? So this is how the training takes place. Okay, so weight and bias updation took place in the exactly in this manner, in which say updating weights and biases after the presentation of each sample. Okay, input sample I am referring to. Weights and biases. Now, what is epoch? One cycle. Okay, one iteration is referred to as one epoch, and so on. Okay, so this is how these neural networks are basically trained, right? So the another important aspect we need to understand with regard to neural network is what is their architecture. Okay, so their architecture basically depends upon how they are coupled with each other. That is how input output layers and neurons are tied with each other. Okay, that will determine their architecture. Say for example, in this case you have got one input and one output layer, so it is referred to as a single layer feed forward network. Okay, in this case it is a multi-layer feed forward. Why multi-layer feed forward? Because one input, one output layer, and in between we have a hidden layer. Now again, how many hidden layer you must have, how many neurons in each layer you must have, that is all based on trial and error. There is no hard-coded rule, okay, which will tell you, say for example, if you are having 50 neurons in input and 10 neurons in the output, okay, then you have to have maybe 40 neurons in the hidden layer. There's nothing like that. So you have to experiment, okay, go on increasing, decreasing, as I said, okay, and then try to find out the optimal value of all those parameters. This is also referred to as what they call it as the fine tuning of these parameters. तो इस तरह से इसका ट्रेनिंग होता है. बाद में हम रिकरेंट नेटवर्क है जो हम बहुत सारे आर्किटेक्चर्स है, एज यू कैन सी हियर. हम उसकी डिटेल्स में नहीं जाएंगे, लेकिन हमें हर लेयर का फंक्शन पता होना चाहिए. तो इनपुट लेयर क्या करता है कि इट रिसीव्स द इनिशियल डेटा. Okay, so you interact with these neural network structures through the input layer. You provide that input output data pair through the input layer. Hidden layers are responsible for providing non-linearities for the network. And output layer क्या देगा आपको? It produces the final result. So output layer will give you the final result, right? So these are the three types of layer present in any neural network architecture. Okay, input, hidden, and output. Having said this, there are three. Again, we'll not go into the details, but at the same time, we need to understand broadly, that is, what are the various training strategies. Okay, so training strategies are supervised training, unsupervised training, and reinforcement training. To put it in very broader perspective, supervised training is when you provide labeled data set. That is, you know the input, you know the output. So it is referred to as a labeled data set. Okay, so if you are having this kind of a data set at your disposal, and if you are feeding it to the neural networks, it is called as supervised training. Okay, unsupervised is when you know the input but you don't know the output. Okay, unlabeled data. Okay, so this is unsupervised. Third, which is the most popular one and which is being used by all the large language model, almost all, some or the other variant of this, is the reinforcement training. What is it? Learning through trial and error. It is very similar to when a small kid learn how to walk. Okay, so initially he or she will take support of something, okay, to stand up and then take small step. And this is how. So reinforcement learning is learning through trial and error to achieve some specific goals. Okay. Again, there are various variants. Okay, this is a very broader picture I am telling you. Okay, there are n number of variants of reinforcement training, but it is being used extensively in the large language model. आज हम जो देख रहे हैं, जितने भी models है, large language models, chat GPT कहिए या जो भी model कहिए, they are using this reinforcement training as the learning strategy. अब देखिए हमने शुरू किया था ट्रेडिशनल AI से, फिर हमने बात की मशीन लर्निंग पे, wherein we have talked about what are neural networks, and how do they learn, learning strategies, and and then computing with words, and the power of this, you can say the machine learning capabilities. Okay, those things we have already explored. Now we are moving towards what they call it as the deep learning. So what has happened in probably mid 2006? Okay, this deep learning came into existence. So if you look at the title itself, deep learning, basically it is machine learning. But why we are calling it as deep learning? Because there are thousands or rather millions of layers of, you can say, the input, output, and hidden layers and so on. The structure is very complex. That is why the name deep learning. There is no other reason, right? So almost all the DL architecture we are using nowadays, they can be categorized into two major categories. One is what they call it as the generative architecture and so on, right? So deep learning, it is also referred to as a representation learning, something like that, right? So on these lines, we need to understand how it is important in terms of input output modalities. So in case of you just recall, okay, in case of traditional AI, what we used to do, we used to give frame if then else rules, and then fed the what should I say, the symptoms and so on, and those systems were able to classify it into some or the other class, something like that. In case of deep learning, the input is not only structured but unstructured. Okay, now this one has to understand what do I mean by unstructured. That is the image. Okay, if you just recall, in machine learning, what was the scenario? That is, we have to have structured data. Structured data meaning thereby the data which can be numeralized. Okay. Whereas in this case, even image you may give as an input. That is what they call it as, that is the classical example of unstructured data. So these deep learning architectures are capable of dealing with not only structured data, but as well as unstructured data or the image. Look at the output modalities. Okay, you get structured data. Okay, that is unlocking. Say, for example, now the best example, I hope now you may relate the things. Okay, we are using it in our day-to-day life, most of us, right? So if you look at the unlocking mechanism of your mobile phone, what is it? Okay, in the whenever you purchase it for the very first time, what do? You train it. Okay, you provide your image with different angles. Okay, side view, right view, and so on, and you train it. Once you train it, what it does in the next run, when you try to unlock it, it simply asks you to, the camera will capture the image and it will try to match the features. Okay, when the features are matching, it will unlock it. Let's say if they are not matching, it will not unlock it. Okay, so this is unlocking mobile through face recognition is the best example as unstructured data. It is taking a decision. It is recognizing a person as a legitimate user or a somebody else, right? So the input modalities are not only structured or unstructured, but the output modalities are structured data. This is about deep learning architecture. So any sensor, okay, so for example, in case of air conditioner, it is having sensor installed. In case of washing machine, the sensors are there. So sensors captures the data, and at the back end, the another best example of this deep learning is the autonomous vehicles. है ना, वहां पे क्या होता है, अब बोलते हैं ADAS 2. What is it exactly? Okay, it is capturing the image and accordingly applying the brake or applying some safety mechanism. Okay, and so on. Okay, so ADAS level 2, ADAS, what is it? It is actually deep learning. Right? So at the back end, some DL algorithm is running, which is taking appropriate action depending upon the scenario, right? So these deep learning architectures are that way important. So I was referring to three important architecture. One is the generative. This come definitely we'll have a detailed look at Gen AI architecture और जिसमें हम बहुत सारे tools भी देखेंगे second session में. Second is discriminative और तीसरा होता है hybrid, which is a combination of these two, right? And they are typically used for synthesis, recognition, classification, and so on. Okay, these are the typical areas of these DL architecture. हम इसमें बहुत डिटेल में नहीं जाएंगे. Let us move ahead with the four. Now, just try to look at recall the slide number 2, wherein I have talked about traditional AI, then machine learning, then deep learning, and somewhere at the bottom it was generative AI. Okay, so we are in the era of Gen AI. Now, what is the power of generative AI? Okay, input unstructured text, image, etc. Anything, only anything you can give to this Gen AI tool. Output unstructured. Okay, if you look at the earlier case, that is in case of deep learning, the output was structured only. Now here we are having the output modality as well as unstructured, that is text and image. Now what are the possibilities here? You give the text, it will give you image. That is, write a prompt, it will create an image for you. Okay, you give the image, it will generate the vice versa, that text for you. Okay, or text to music, or text to text, which is very common, that is chat GPT and so on, right? So the modalities, if you look at in terms of the modalities, they are really powerful. I tell you, they can do any damn thing for you, right? So text to image, image to text, or text to music, or text to text. Even though I am narrating these things quite easily, see, just think of a scenario wherein you are typing a prompt and asking the tool to generate or rather compose a tune, music tune, okay, for a particular song. It will do it for you. Okay, so without any problem. Okay, you can create altogether new tunes. Okay, you may create images. Okay, and that is what has happened. Okay, Grok, you must have heard the controversy. है ना, बीच में क्या हुआ, people, it has created images of celebrities and renowned politicians. Okay, that has created a lot of chaos in the you can say the media and so on. But these tools are having that potential. Okay, generative AI tool. Now look at the power of this Gen AI tool. Input text plus image. Now this is again possible. You give text along with an image. Okay, that is what they call it as the multimodal. Okay, output is again, once again, text plus image, multimodal functionality. Right. So this is why wherein we need to be a little bit worried about, right? It is almost creating challenges for every one of us. Okay, maybe you are MF Hussain, or you are Anu Malik, or AR Rahman, right? So definitely, and that's why a lot of controversies are cropping up in media. Okay, based on these Gen AI tool, right? Okay, you must have heard about celebrities like say Salman Khan and other people approaching Honorable High Court for protecting their personality. What is it exactly? Okay, these tools are becoming problems for them, right? So this technology is undoubtedly is a disruption. Okay, there are always two sides of a coin. So this is disruptive technology. Okay, and there's nothing wrong in calling it as a disruptive technology. But at the same time, we need to know, we need to learn. Okay, and we need to be aware about this technology. Okay, that is what is the objective of this session, right? So power of Gen AI, I've told you. Then I said there are gray areas. Each technology suffers from some or the other problem. So the biggest problem with this AI is what they call it as the black box problem. So what is this black box problem? Let me be very clear. Okay, we do not have sufficient time. So what this black box problem is, you provide input to this AI system. Okay, and then this black box, this you may replace this black box with any Gen AI tool. Okay, so what it does basically, it gives you some or the other output. Okay, but how that particular tool has arrived at a particular answer, that is not known to anybody in the world. I underline the word anybody. What does this mean? Let's say if you approach the company whosoever has developed it, okay, and ask them, ki, bhai, how you have arrived at this particular answer, they will say, sorry, sir, we will not be in a position to give you exact justification. Even if you approach the developer, okay, the development team involved in developing that tool, okay, again, they will come up with this same answer. What's the reason? The reason is the complexity is so high. There are millions of billions of layers, okay, which makes it bit difficult for any human being to give proper justification. And that's why it is referred to as a black. So what is happening within this box is not known to anybody. And that is what they call it as the black box problem in AI. Now, it leads to a lot of things. That is, now let's say if you are using it for medical diagnosis, okay, and it is the tool is diagnosing some wrong disease. Now, to whom you will held responsible? Whether you will held responsible the developer or the company who is marketing that product or the development team, or to whom? So who will be held accountable? So lack of accountability, that is another issue. Unpredictability, you never know what will happen, right? You get some or the other answer. So unpredictable answers, right? High stake in military use. Okay, you are using it for firing missile. Okay, so you may face problem in that regard. Okay, so the core issue is how to fully trust. Okay, whether this technology is trustworthy. Again, there is a big question mark. I will not say yes, right? Then how to regulate it? Okay, now regulation and trustworthiness, these are the two key components. Okay, now having said this, we need to understand what is this Gen AI, what is their power. Okay, now these tools, okay, now here onwards we'll move to tools component of it. So these tools are capable of creating new original content. Now this we need to understand. New original content meaning thereby, let's say I'm using text to text and I'm creating a research article by using this tool. I can do so. But the answer is whether it is ethically correct or not. The answer is a big no. One should not do it. Okay, because you are making compromises on ethical front. But these tools are capable of doing so. So creating new original content such as images, text, or music. Okay, that is the power of this Gen AI tool. Right now, how it is different from AI? Basically, AI is a superset and Gen AI is a subset. Okay, but if you look at in terms of the potential, it is challenging the creativity and innovation. Okay, which is typically associated with human being. Okay, these two attributes are being challenged by these tools, right? Creativity, innovation, that is creating all together new content. Okay, look at the application areas: content creation, drug discovery, game design, simulation, text to image generation, and whatnot. Okay. Now, having said this, I hope the historical perspective, that is starting from traditional AI to you can say the machine learning, then deep learning, and at the end, Gen AI is hopefully clear to you, right? So we are at present in the era of what they call it as the generative AI, right? Or the Gen AI category, wherein we are interacting with a lot of large language models. Say, for example, ChatGPT is the best example. Okay, so you are interacting with those tools or LLMs. They are in short called as large language model or LLMs in short. Okay, now we need to understand how do these LLM works. Okay, so there are some key characteristics of these LLM. We'll just try to digest the key characteristics of these LLM. So these LLMs can understand natural language through advanced algorithm. है ना? आप क्या करते हो? What do? You write down the prompts, and that is in English. Okay, or maybe now the tools are becoming equally competent. I will show you that some Indian language support is again being provided by various tools, right? So, but you write in some natural language, English or any other, okay, and what it does, or maybe voice command, okay, and they are capable of understanding the words, sentence, and one step beyond, that is the context in which that has been asked. See, this is normally attributed to human intelligence, right? So they are capable of understanding the words, sentences, and the context. Okay. So just like when you are appearing in an examination hall, okay, what do? You just try to understand the context in which the question has been asked by the examiner. Okay, and then accordingly you tailored your responses. Then the second important characteristic is these LLM generates coherent, contextually relevant text based on input queries, making them powerful tool for a wide range of applications. Right. So these are the two important characteristics. text understanding and text generation. Right. Now, having said this, we need to understand that is how do they function. So they function in a 5-step methodical manner. What are those steps? The very first step is the tokenization. As I said, that is whatever you intend to accomplish with these tools, you need to write down prompts. Okay, English like statements. Okay, and these prompts are basically composed of words. So each word will be considered as a token. I hope you are getting me right. So each word will be considered as a token because it is bit easier for it to understand in terms of tokens, right? Then what do? We translate these tokens into you can say the vectors. Now you here you may connect the dot. Okay, and what is that dot? That dot is basically the computing with words. Okay, what I have told you, the computing with words. Just try to uh, reconnect with the same thing, right? So what we need to do, we need to convert those English-like words into what they call it as into computation ready computation, right? Right. So we convert those words into numbers or numerical vectors. And then what do? Next step is self-attention. Just like you and I, we are capable of identifying the important words. Okay. These tools are capable of identifying the important words. Okay. And accordingly, they create responses to those words. They go one step beyond the predictive capabilities, that is the prediction. So these models are capable of predicting the next question. Okay, when you interact with them, some ready-made FAQ sort of prompt will appear on your screen. I'll demonstrate this in the second session. And then what do? They generate the response. Okay, based on the query. Whatever query you have asked, they go on generating the response. Right. Now, we are left with only one thing as a user. Okay, as a user, we are left with only one thing. That is what they call it as prompt engineering. That is now how to write a precise prompt so as to get the desired output from the tool, accurate and relevant response from the output. Why I'm saying precise, there is reason to it. Okay. Usually the mechanism, the licensing mechanism of these tools is in terms of either token or in terms of duration. Okay. So you have to be very cautious while dealing with the, you can say the tokens, and you will try to optimize that tokens all the time. Okay. So crafting prompts, okay, precisely so as to get the desired output, that is what is left in our hand. And there is a complete area of engineering which has emerged, what they call it as the prompt engineering. So what is prompt engineering? It is crafting precise prompt, okay, precise inputs to be very specific. Now there are various techniques available under this. We'll not go into all the details, but we need to understand at the same time some basic techniques. So what are the basic techniques? So the very first technique is what they call it as the zero-shot prompting. In case of zero-shot prompting, what do? We direct, this is the way in which we interact with these tools for the very first time. You fire a direct query. You say, okay, what is this or what is that? Without giving any example. Okay. So if you do so, it is zero-shot prompting. So you get more generic responses from these tools, right? That is zero-shot prompting, wherein you don't give any example. Okay. So the AI is given a task with no prior example. Okay. So what it will do, it will give you some generic answer, right? That is zero-shot. Okay. In case of one shot, okay, what do? We give one example. Okay, we give one example. What does this mean? Let me give some analogy, okay, which will make your idea a little bit clear in this regard. That is, we will ask, say, for example, you have developed rather, you are manufacturing a two-wheeler and you want to create a tagline for that product. And your competitor is, let us assume that Hero Honda is there. Okay. So what you are saying, what is the tagline of Hero Honda? Let's say, fill it, forget it. So this tagline you are giving as an input, okay, as an input to the Gen AI tool. And then you are asking, now you generate a tagline in similar manner for my product. Okay. So in this case, what will happen? The job of the tool will be a little bit easier because while analyzing the tagline or the example, it will come to know that the user want not more than 4 words. Okay, each word should depict some or the other characteristics, maybe fuel efficiency or something like that, right, of the product, and accordingly it will craft the answer. So if you give one example, definitely the job of the tool will become a little bit easier, right? So that is one shot prompting. So this way you may give more than one. It is called as the few shot prompting. Okay, maybe 2 or 3 examples. Okay, that is referred to as few shot prompting. So one shot, zero shot when you are not giving an example, one shot when you are giving one example, few shot when you are giving more than one example, maybe 2 or 3. Okay, there is one more thing. That is what they call it as the role prompting. So you may assign a role or persona to this AI tool. Okay, you may say, assume you are a vice chancellor of Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar Marathwada University. Okay, and then you pose your query. Okay, if you do so, what will happen? Okay, the job of the AI tool will be confined to Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar Marathwada University's website, and it will go through all the duties and responsibilities of the vice chancellor, and accordingly it will craft the answer. So you may assign a role of a DSP or maybe a research assistant. Let's say if you are using it for research purposes, okay, and according then you craft your answers. Okay, so the job will become a little bit easier and you get more tailored responses in this case, right? So that is prompt engineering, right? Then chain of thought, okay, wherein breaking down a large tasks into smaller logical steps and then feeding it one by one. है ना, कई बार ऐसा होता है कि भाई हमको बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स प्रॉब्लम है, हमको उसको सॉल्व करना है, तो व्हाट वी कैन डू, वी कैन break it down into a number of steps and then feed the prompts one at a time so as to get the desired output. Meta prompting, that is wherein you are asking it to generate its own prompt, okay, for a specific task. Okay, that is meta prompting. Then tree of thought prompting, wherein let's say I want to visit from my place to Aurangabad or Sambhaji Nagar, right? So what it will do, it will find out all the possible paths from Amravati to your place, and it will give me the most optimal path as the answer. Okay, in terms of toll, in terms of maybe traffic condition, or in terms of any other parameter, whatever I'm looking for. Okay, so it will give you optimal path. Okay, optimized answer in that case. That is tree of thought. Then prompt chaining, wherein you may give the output of one prompt as the input to the next one, okay, in a cascaded manner. That is called as sequencing. Okay, then now this is all about, you can say, the prompt engineering. Now we need to be little bit concerned about few parameters. Okay, many times we have a very common complaint, that is while interacting with these tools, okay, you may say, okay, sir, we are getting very generic answers. Okay, it is not giving any creative answers or something like that. Okay, so we need to be little bit cautious about these 4, 5 parameters. Again, there are many, but it's not possible to cover all those things in a single session. Okay, so temperature is one of them. So what is temperature? The normal value of temperature is between 0 to 2, right? 0 to 2. Let's say if the value is set to 0.2, you get more generic response. If you make it 1.0 or 1.5, you will get more creative response. So this temperature is directly proportional to the creativity. Okay, if you set it to 2.0, you will get more creative response, right? Max token, that is, this defines the length of the response. Let's say you want the response in specified words, you may use this max token, you can set it accordingly, and accordingly you will get the answers. Then there is top P, or nucleus sampling, what they call it as. So how many potential words you want in the answer, right? So it will do so. So let's say you want to write an abstract, not more than 150 words. Okay, you may do so by this top P. Frequency penalty and presence penalty. What is it? If you want to avoid redundancy, okay, if you want to avoid redundancy, you may take help of this parameter settings, right? That is redundant responses we get. Okay, if you want to avoid that, you can set frequency penalty and presence penalty, and you can achieve the desired functionality. Now, having said about various prompting techniques, various parameters we need to be careful about. Okay, just now we'll jump into what they call it as how to use it for research. Okay, so whether we can use these tools for research, uh, up to some extent, I will say yes, but not for the generation of ideas, not for doing any creativity activity. Okay, because if you do so, okay, you will be you will face a lot of problems. That is for sure, right? Because what is happening is the black tools are becoming equally competent to deal with all these issues, right? So plagiarism tools are again capable of identifying whether the stuff has been written by some individual or it is a AI generated, right? So that's why don't use it for that purpose. Don't use it for writing complete research article, but you may use it for some other activities, which I will demonstrate in the second session. Okay, and different publishing houses has got their own way of dealing with this issue arising out of use of AI for research. Okay, say for example, I am from engineering background, so we have IEEE mandates, wherein it clearly says that you can use these tools only for editing and grammar enhancement, not for anything else, right? So this is for sure, right? Accordingly, Springer has got its own way of dealing with the things, right? Science journal elsewhere and so on. This is a small list. Okay, we'll go a little bit beyond this list, but illicit consensus, okay, Skyspace, okay, ChatSonic, ChatGPT, ChatPDF, and so on. So these tools we'll just try to have a look at. Okay, now at the end, as I promised you, that is, I have talked about the major problem with this technology. That is the black box problem. Okay, what is the solution? So the solution to black box problem is what they call it as the explainable AI or XAI. Okay. It is also referred to as responsible AI. Okay. Because the problem was all those models, they were not able to justify how they arrive at a particular answer. So this explainable AI functionality will add up that transparency to the existing model. And again, it is not, this is one of the research area of this technology, right? We'll not go into the details, but at the same time, we need to know what is it all about, right? So there are some tools available like say Lime, okay, or SHAP and so on, right? But we need to at the same time identify that is how this technology works. So there are some other concern wherein we have to be a little bit cautious about the privacy and security. So while interacting with these tools, your API keys, your prompts, responses, everything is not at all secure. Okay, it is in public domain. So don't do any confidential work using these tools. Okay, you may face problem. Okay, so privacy security, I'll show you that is how to protect it. Okay, there are again ways and means available. So those things we will have in the second session. So there are some frameworks coming up, what they call it as the FAT frameworks, fairness, accountability, transparency framework is there, and so on. Right. So this is all about the first part of the session. That is the theoretical foundation of this technology, that is AI and all about. Right. So if you have any specific query, you can fire it now. Let's say if you are not in a position to unmute yourself, then you may type your questions in the chat box. I will take few questions in the session, and then we will proceed with the demonstration of some of these tools. I hope you are enjoying this session.
Yes, sir. Yes. Very nice and informative, sir. You are
Thank you.
totally you are talking about technical aspects of AI and everything.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. But I'm trying my level best to make it as simple as possible because I know there are people from different disciplines.
Yes, yes. Yes, anyone is having any question, you type in the message box, text box.
Due to some 92%. Okay. Some very informative session and so on, right? But I don't think there is any question. Anyway,
Yes, you
Atique,
can go
we'll
for
take,
second session, sir.
yeah, no worries, right? We'll take your questions at the end. No problem. Okay. You can think over and then be ready with all your questions. I will take up all those questions in the second session. So let us begin. We'll not take a break. I think it's better to move in a continuous manner. Okay, so as I promised you that in the second session, I will show you some tools. Rather, I will demonstrate some of these tools, right? And how to use those tools. Okay, that is there on the agenda as far as the second session is concerned, right? So let us begin with few basic tools. Okay, uh, maybe some of you are using it, but I need to take into account the masses. So accordingly, I will go ahead with those tools. Okay, so the very first tool coming on your way is, I hope my entire screen is visible to you, sir. My entire screen is visible to you?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, it is visible.
Okay, thank you. तो अब हम चलते हैं कुछ टूल्स की तरफ. पहला टूल जो हमें देखना है, that is Notebook LM. Okay, this is the tool provided by Google itself. Okay, and it uses AI at the back end. Okay, so what you need to do while using all these tools, okay, you need not have to worry about any other things. Okay, you have to have your Gmail ID or any social media account available with you. Okay, that is enough for accessing these tools. Okay, so I have logged in from my Gmail account. Okay, then go to this Google Apps. 9
Sir,
dots are there.
sir, sorry to disturb you.
Ah.
You share your screen, sir.
What I thought it is already shared.
No, no, we have to share.
That's why I've asked. Anyway, let me make it once again. Yes, share. Now I'll share the entire screen. Okay.
No, sir, it's not.
Just check it out, sir. Whether it is visible now?
Yeah, it's visible. Yes.
Visible. Thank you, sir. So let's go ahead with a basic tool called Notebook LM, right? So what I said, you need to simply log in through your Gmail account, okay? And go to these 9 dots, that is Google Apps, okay? And simply scroll down. Somewhere at the end, you will find this Notebook LM. Okay, click on Notebook LM. Now this is for teaching, learning, and research, everything. Okay, very fantastic tool. Okay, very basic tool, very fantastic tool, and as on date, completely free. Okay, you need not have to worry about any subscription and all. It is provided by Google, and that too free of cost. Okay, now how we can use it for teaching, learning, and research purpose? That is what we are going to look at it. Okay, so as you can see here, there is a button called Create New. Okay, Create New, or there is a button called Create New Notebook. So either way, you can create a new notebook. Okay, so let us try to create a new notebook using this. Okay, I'm clicking on Create New Notebook. All right. So what you need to do is now you need to specify the sources from where you want to learn. Okay. So you can do so by uploading your files. Okay, let's say if you have got some file which you have, some papers which you have already downloaded on your desktop, okay, you may upload those files by using this button. Okay, if you want to fetch some YouTube videos and you want to learn from those YouTube videos, that is again possible by using this tab. Let's say if something is there on your Google Drive, you may use this drive functionality. Okay, then you may go ahead with this copied text. If you have something you have copied, you want to paste it, that can be done using this. Okay, or let's say you do not want to use any one of these and you want to search on the web. Okay, so here you are supposed to type some prompt or the area you intend to search for. So just tell me any area. AI in let's try on innovative pedagogy. Or you may suggest, okay, I'll type that area. That's not a problem, right? So I'm trying this AI in innovative pedagogy, okay, and simply hit the arrow key, okay, blue arrow, whatever was there. Okay, what will happen? It will go on searching the various sources, okay, and it will catch hold of some 10 odd sources from the web. Okay, as you can see here. Okay, on the left hand side, wherein we have a sources panel, it has captured how many? 10 sources. Okay, right now it is showing 3, but it is saying 7 more. Okay, you can look at these things by simply clicking on this view button. Okay, so what is your role? Your role is to simply go through all these sources and find out whether they are relevant or not. Okay, you may do so by simply clicking on this button. Let us assume that we are satisfied with these 10 sources. So this way, you may add up as many as 50 odd sources in a single notebook. How many? 50. 50 is the limit. Okay. Let's try with 10 only. Okay. So what you need to do is simply let's say you are satisfied with these 10 sources. So simply say import. I'm saying import. Okay, moment you hit on import, okay, it will go on importing all those 10 sources. But there is some condition. Okay, some condition is in a sense, all these sources must be in public domain or open access. If it is not, say for example, some IEEE paper you are referring to, and that paper is not available in public domain, okay, because it requires login ID and password. So it will not fetch that particular paper. But as long as the sources are in public domain, it will go on fetching those sources. Okay, for example, right now there is nothing which is in a controlled manner or which requires some login ID or password. So it will simply fetch all those sources, right? 10 sources. Okay. Now, once it is done, okay, having some issue with regard to, so just allow me to switch off my camera. It will not make any harm to you. Okay, because I am having some bandwidth issue. That is what I feel. Okay. So it is going a little bit slow. Okay. Now, as you can see here, out of 10, 8 are available in public domain, 2 are not available. Okay, that's why it is showing some I or URL not reachable, it is saying. And if you scroll through, it will again say URL not reachable. Right. So these two papers require some access. Okay. Anyway, so 8 sources it has catch hold of, right? And now we'll move further. Now, in between, you have chat functionality. Okay, so you may chat with all these 10 sources or 8 sources, whatever is available. Okay, using some prompt. Okay, you may type any damn question with regard to that domain. Okay, it will formulate some answer for you. So, how does AI enable personalized learning for students with disabilities? Okay, or what are the primary ethical risks and biases? Okay, this is what I have fired right now. Now it is giving me the answer. Okay, it is curating the answer. And how it is curating the answer, now you can link the theory, whatever we have done. Okay, those are the 5 steps. Okay, those 5 steps are being used here for drafting the or crafting the answers. Right. So this is the chat functionality, but this is not enough. Okay, on the right hand side, you have got very many things. And what are those things? You can create audio, and that too in your own native language. For example, we are all from Maharashtra. Okay, so there is a facility for creating an audio overview in Marathi. है ना? So by default तो English में कर देगा. All right. But let's say if you want to create audio in your local language, you can do so by simply clicking on the language and then clicking on this audio button. Okay. So I'm creating an audio. Okay. Then it is capable of creating a video, explainer video of based on all 10 sources, not one source, all 10 sources. Then mind map, it will create a mind map for you. Okay. It will create, let's say for evaluation, it will create flashcards. It will create quiz. Okay. Infograph. Let's say you want to create an infographic for your deliberation. Tomorrow you are planning a lecture. Okay. So that can be done by using this infographic facility. It is again capable of creating PowerPoint presentation. Okay. That too on a single click. So this slide deck is intended for that. Click on slide deck. Okay. So it will create a PPT based on these sources. And that too, how many sources? 8 or 10 sources in a single code. Okay, maximum 50 sources at a time. All right. So let's see. It has generated some this thing that is the okay. So this can be used for teaching learning purposes. Okay, you may share it with your student community. Okay, and you can download it or you can do whatever you feel like. All right. So this is what we have done. That is with regard to, it has given a title as well. Okay, flashcards are again done. Okay, quiz it has generated. Let's see what is there in a quiz. Okay, so AI flashcard, it has generated flashcards. How many? 70 flashcards, not one, based on 8 sources. So you can scroll down 1, 2, 3, and so on. Okay. Then, okay. Then quiz, as I said. Okay, let's see what is there in a quiz. Okay, so based on 8 sources, it has created a quiz of 10 questions. Okay, with 4 multiple choice options and the answer as well. Okay, you can go to next. 10 questions it has created. And whether you have typed anything, no, simply you are clicking. Okay, you are clicking and getting the functionality. So that's why I said these tools are called as zero code or no code. Okay, you need not have to write anything for getting the things done. All right, simply click. Okay, then let's see. Slide deck it is preparing. Okay, all right. Now let me show you one more feature of this. That is the report component. So under reports, if you click, okay, it will create a lot of reports for you. And what are all those reports? Just have a look at it. Again, these are helpful in, you can say, teaching learning purposes. Say for example, briefing doc, study guide, जो हम notes देते हैं बच्चों को classroom में. Okay, that can be done quite easily using this. Study guide it will create, blog post it will create, curriculum integration framework it will create. Okay, strategic guidance report, conceptual model guide. Now these reports will be based on the kind of resources. So it will vary. Let's say you go for a next run, you will get altogether different stuff over there, right? Not necessarily this kind of thing. Let's say if you are not satisfied with any of these template, okay, you may go ahead with create your own customized report. Like in customized report, you can create in English only. Some international languages are there, but for us, English is the only option. For example, these Dutch and all these languages are there, but for us, English is the only one. Let's say I want to create a research proposal. Okay, so I can type something like the prompt I have to type here: create a research proposal. Okay, and then simply click on generate. Okay, so that research proposal is being created. ठीक है, तो ऑडियो भी जो जनरेट होगा वो कन्वर्सेशनल ऑडियो रहेगा, मतलब इट विल बी अ पॉडकास्ट काइंड ऑफ थिंग. वन फेलो विल बी आस्किंग द क्वेश्चन, द अदर वन विल बी रिस्पॉन्डिंग द आंसर्स, राइट? So very fantastic in terms of learning. So you may download that audio, okay, and later on whenever in your leisure time you may listen to it and you can grasp that concept, right? So this is how it works. Okay, so this is notebook LM. Okay, this is notebook LM. All right. So it is generating that report. Okay, so this is one of the very basic tool which you may adopt for teaching, learning and research. अब आप बोलोगे सर रिसर्च के लिए कैसे यूज करें इसे, तो आपको यहाँ रिसर्च पेपर डालने हैं और कुछ नहीं करना. ठीक है, इफ यू add the all your research paper in the form of sources, okay, it will make stuff based on that resource. So you may fire any query. Say, for example, you want to identify the research gap. So you can type in this chat, okay, what are the research gaps? Okay, it will give you some research gaps. Okay, here you may type that. Okay. They identify key research areas. Or research gap as I was referring to. So this is a very basic tool. Now it is coming up. Okay, longitudinal cognitive impact studies, cognitive and metacognitive development, career outcomes, and so on. ठीक है, तो ये है नोटबुक LM. और इसमें एज ऑन डेट आपको completely फ्री है. There is nothing you need to pay. Most of the tool I'll be showing you, they are all free. Okay, most of them they are free. Okay, so is this okay? Shall I move further? Right. So let's move ahead with some other tool. This is all about notebook LM. But let's say if you have any specific query with regard to notebook LM, you may fire it now. है ना? अगर आपको कुछ पूछना है तो अभी पूछ सकते हैं, क्योंकि otherwise it will be a bit difficult for us to again toggle to this tool. Okay, so this notebook LM is there. Okay, now let's move ahead with some another tool which is typically for analyzing and synthesizing research paper. So there is a tool called illicit.com. Okay, go to illicit.com. If you are visiting this tool very first time, you need to log in through your Gmail account. Okay, you will find there is an option called Gmail account, or it will ask you to sign up. ठीक है, तो अब हम यहाँ पे देख रहे हैं, ये आ गया आपका टूल. दिस इज माय अकाउंट. Okay, I have signed in with my Gmail credentials. Now here I am typing AI in innovative, let's say pedagogy. Okay, same thing. ठीक है, तो हमने जो भी टॉपिक दिया, व्हाट इट हैज डन, इट हैज आइडेंटिफाइड 10 ऑड पेपर्स. ये देख पा रहे हैं आप यहाँ पे, अलोंग विद द पेपर समरी आ रही है कॉलम में. अब मुझे क्या करना है कि इन टूल्स इनके बारे में, ये सब जो पेपर्स हैं, आई वांटेड टू आइडेंटिफाई द रिसर्च गैप्स. ठीक है, so that can be done quite easily by simply adding a new column. Now how to add a column? Okay, go to this right hand panel, edit column. Okay, say add new. Okay, and here you are supposed to type that functionality whatever you are expecting from the tool. So let's say research gaps. Okay, अब यहाँ पे आप चाहो तो कुछ स्पेसिफिक इंस्ट्रक्शन भी दे सकते हो. यू मे गिव सम स्पेसिफिक इंस्ट्रक्शन विद इन दिस बॉक्स. ओके, इफ यू वांट टू. Okay, let's say we are not interested in giving any specific instruction, then simply say add a column. So what is happening is a new column is being added. All right, a new column is being added and it is being populated with the stuff from all those 10 paper, that too on a single click. ठीक है, तो देख पा रहे हैं आपके यहाँ पे सारे रिसर्च गैप हर पेपर से निकाल के वो आपको दे रहा है. ये सब रिसर्च गैप्स है. ठीक है, so this way you can add as many as 4 column. How many? 4, not more than 4 in a single go. Okay, if you try to, because I am using a free version as on date. Okay, it is a beta version without paying any subscription fee. Okay, if I want to go beyond 4 column, I need to upgrade my plan. Okay, maybe some $5 or $10 I need to pay and then go for a paid subscription. But let's say I want to go beyond 4, that can be done quite easily by simply deleting the earlier column. Let's say the summary you don't require, so you may delete this. Okay, similarly, you may delete the research gaps and then you can add up few more columns. Right? So that limitation can be overcome by using this. Right? This small, I should say, jugaad. Okay, we are all Indians, you know. So we find solutions to every problem, right? On a lighter note, don't be so serious. I should not use these words, but this is how it is, right? So this way you can use it for analyzing or synthesizing research paper, right? So illicit is very fantastic tool in terms of research paper analysis and synthesis. Okay, so let's move ahead with some other tools like connected papers. Okay. Connected papers. So in connected papers, again, this is my account. Okay, I know I'm going little fast, but my strategy is to expose you to as many tools as possible. That is the only reason. Okay, that's why I'm going little fast. Okay. So this is illicit. Oh, sorry, connected papers. Now in connected papers, it gives you very many things. Say, for example, I'm interested in searching in healthcare, AI in healthcare, health, wellness, and society. That is the area I want to search for. So I will type it here and then simply go ahead with this. So there are a few papers it has identified. Click on any of the paper. Okay, no. So again, the free version has got some limitation. Okay, I don't have any free plans available with me, but let me log in with some other account. Okay, let me log out. Okay, because I have exhausted my 5. I used to deliver sessions, so I have exhausted my limit of 5 uh, plan at a time. Okay, so continue with Google. Okay, let me. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry that my screen is blinking. There's something wrong with my machine. Oh, please don't go away. Okay, I'll shut down and again I'll
No,
do
sir, it's
some.
work. We are seeing it clearly. No issue.
Acha, for you, but I am not able to see anything on my screen. It is
Okay,
completely
okay,
black.
you can shut down and restart it.
Yes, sir. Please, sir. So just give me a minute, okay? Or
Yes.
I think I need to shut it down and again come back. I'll be back within a minute. Please give me a minute.
Atique sir, you can join the meeting again.
Okay, okay,
Hello.
sir. Now resolved. All right. I'm sorry, actually it was not allowing me to unmute.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So welcome back. Just allow me to share my entire screen. Whether my entire screen is visible to you, sir? Anybody
Yes,
else?
yes. It is visible.
Okay. Chaliye, let's move ahead. Okay,
But it
so
is showing join meeting, sir.
okay. All right. So I think we were talking about illicit we have covered, then connected papers, right? So let us have a look at connected papers. Okay. Okay, but the problem with connected paper was my free plan has expired. Okay, so I need to log in using some different account. Probably there we have left. Okay, so I will continue with Google. So if you are a first time user, you need to follow this path. Okay, now I will log in with my some different account. Let's say this one. Okay, so so there we are now. AI in, let's say, innovative pedagogy, right? So you can build graph using this. That is what I wanted to demonstrate. And that graph will give you an insight, that is how your area is all about, right? Let's say, so there we are, yes. Okay, now it is waiting for the server. It will build. Yes. So there we are. That is, now it has built the graph. Okay, whatever area I'm searching for, who are the player, right? Major authors of your work, the area you are looking for. So you may locate them quite easily with the help of these graphs. Okay, later on you can find out the real stuff in your domain quite easily. So it helps you in identifying the real literature review in your area. Okay. And these graphs are very fantastic, I tell you, in terms of their effectiveness. Okay. You may use them for identifying real people working in your domain. So this is connected papers, right? So you may go through this prior work, okay, derivative work. These are the direct tabs available, okay, whatever work you are searching for. Then you may apply certain filters as per your own need. And there are few more things available, that is graph version, full screen. You can even download these graphs, okay. So this connected paper is typically used for identifying papers in your domain, right? Connected papers. On the similar line, we have a research rabbit. Okay. So for first time, you may type research rabbit AI. Okay. Research rabbit dot AI. Okay. Is the URL. On the similar line, you have to type the area you intend to search for. AI in innovative, let's say, pedagogy. Okay. And simply say search. Now this rabbit is finding out the real stuff for you. Now it has identified certain papers. Okay. Now how efficient it is. Look at the another search settings. So you may set you may search for a specific keyword, okay, or any specific quartile, let's say Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, quartile journals, okay. H index, those things can be set quite easily here. Even you can set the retracted paper and so on using this, you can say the Research Rabbit tool, right? So this is very effective, very handy, and it helps you a lot in identifying the real literature in your domain. Again, it is capable of drawing graphs, whatever we have seen in the form of, you can say the connected papers. On the similar line, this Research Rabbit will again help you in drawing graphs and so on. So you can do lot many things with the help of this Research Rabbit. Okay, that too quite easily. Okay, without wasting a lot of time in you can say identifying the real stuff in your domain. Okay, so these are few you can say the tools. Now I'll talk on some other aspect of AI. Let's say you want to identify which tool is best for you. Okay, so there are hundreds of tools available, right? So there is a platform called Open Router AI. Okay, Open Router AI. Now it is showing how many models? 637 models under one roof. ठीक है, कितने 637 मॉडल दिखा रहा है आपको. Now, if you just recall my discussion, somewhere I think I have talked about, that is the modalities, input modalities and output modalities. So let's say you want to have input as text and output as text. How many models are there? 604 models. Let's say input as text and output as image, only 7 models are there. But the beauty of this platform is it ranks all those models in terms of their effectiveness. तो रैंकिंग भी आपको यहाँ पे मिल जाएगा ये सब मॉडल्स का. ठीक है, टॉप मॉडल्स कौन से हैं? ठीक है, यहाँ पे आप देख पा रहे हैं, दिस इज द डैशबोर्ड ऑफ दीज मॉडल्स. ओके, हु आर द प्रोवाइडर? जैसे 7 मॉडल्स है. फॉर एग्जांपल हमें देखना है मिनी मैक्स, हाउ इट इज डूइंग, है ना, एज ऑन डेट. So it gives you everything. That is academia, it is numbered at 8, finance 8, health में 10 है, programming में 1 है. So Minimax is tagged as number 1 for programming, computer programming. Science it is 8. Okay. Now the beauty of this platform is you can interact with more than one model from the same platform. Okay. So this chat functionality is there. So click on chat and then you can compare the responses. So you can very well take an informed decision that which tool is best for your functionality. Okay. तो आप यहाँ पे चैट करोगे. चैट में आप, जैसे हम कार खरीदते हैं तो हम 2 गाड़ियों का कंपैरिजन करते हैं, यहाँ 2 मॉडल्स का हम कंपैरिजन करेंगे. ठीक है, तो min max is 1, then add one more model, let's say Coin 3.5, and type your query here. Okay. Okay, say AI in now my free limits I've exhausted. Actually, in this case, again, you have to have some फिर भी इसने आंसर दिया है हमें. Okay, AI innovative pedagogy. Okay, so understanding AI driven pedagogy, then key application of AI in education. Okay, some code, everything is there, right? तो अब ये दोनों का आप कंपैरिजन कर सकते हो. ठीक है, कंपैरिजन के अलावा आप क्या कर सकते हो? हम फिर से मॉडल पे जाएंगे. ओके, जैसे मैंने कहा यहाँ पे आपको you can define input modalities, output modalities, then some parameters I have referred to in my deliberation. Okay, so what are those supported parameters? यहाँ पे देखिए, इसको क्लिक करिए. So you will find temperature, that is whatever I was referring to, top P, top K, presence penalty, frequency penalty, and whatnot, right? So you may play with all those things. Okay, but for only limited thing it is free. Otherwise you need to buy credits. Okay, for buying credit, okay, you need to make some payment. Okay, some credit card payment, $5 or $10, right? But without that, once again, you can do lot many things as I have shown you just now using this Open Router AI. Okay, so this is a fantastic platform. Okay, for identifying that which tool is best for your functionality. Okay. All right. Now let's move ahead with few more tools. Okay. अब मैंने आपसे कहीं तो भी बात की थी कि भाई आपको आपकी प्राइवेसी और सिक्रेसी कंप्रोमाइज किए बगैर काम करना है. So there are tools available. Okay, there are tools, rather frameworks available for that purpose. Okay, so we'll just try to dig upon those things. But before that, I'll show you one small thing. That is what they call it as the agentic AI. इसमें एक Zapier करके tool आता है, right? So you can make use of this Zapier. Okay, तो Zapier से आप क्या कर सकते हैं देखिए. You can create your own agent. Now, what are agents? Okay, they will work 24/7. You may automate any job, okay, using these agents. So how to create agents? Okay, let's try. Okay, how to create agents. Now I am logging in with my account. Okay, then say continue. Okay, and then simply say first time it will. Okay, you need to sign in. This is for the first time user. Okay. All right. So I'm showing you the sign in process as well. Okay, back to agents. All right. Now create my agents. Okay, new agent. Now I want to create agent. Okay, my agents or create a new agent. Okay, moment you click on new agent, you will find some ready-made templates available on your left-hand panel. अब देखिए रेडीमेड में क्या क्या है. आपको सपोज आपके स्पैम मेल को डिलीट करना है या फिर कोई ऑटो रिप्लाई करने हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल आई एम रनिंग MMTC, right? So I want to create a Gmail auto replier for the queries of the participant. Okay, so I may use this template, Gmail auto replier. Okay, then click on, then what will happen on the right hand side, the uh, template will appear. Okay, I may make certain changes as per my own need. तो यहाँ मैं कुछ changes भी कर सकता हूँ अगर मुझे चाहिए तो. लिखा है इंग्लिश में वैसे ये. ओके, इसमें कुछ रॉकेट साइंस नहीं है. यहाँ पे देखिए, retrieve all emails currently in your box using Gmail. For each mail, generate a custom draft reply. If available, I will refer to the Google Doc of email response, create a draft reply for this and so on and so forth. Let's say you are satisfied with this stuff. So simply say use this template. Okay. Then what you need to do, you need to connect. Okay. You need to provide access to your Gmail account. So simply say connect. Okay. Provide access to your Gmail. Okay. And now I'm providing the access. Okay. Okay. Say continue. Okay, I need to give access permission for accessing these, right? Okay, I'm giving access to Zapier. Okay. All right. Okay, then what you need to do is simply skip. Okay, so the agent has been created. Okay, then I will take a preview of my agent. Okay, and then test agent. Now, since I am using my official email ID, okay, the Gmail is not allowing me access because we do have our own settings as far as the official emails are concerned. Right now, I'm using my HOD Com Science SGBAU. If you use your personal email ID, it will not give you any problem. Okay, then my objective is to show you that is how to create an agent. Then simply say test agent. Okay. Now it is crafting. Okay. Now the agent is scanning through the mail. Okay. Uh, Crafting answers. Okay. And then you may, let's say if you are satisfied, you can invoke this agent. Okay. It will run 24/7. Okay. Replying to all the mails. Okay. In an automatic manner. Okay. In an automatic manner. Okay. Based on the functionality you have defined. So this Zapier is typically used for creating agents or agentic AI. Right. Zapier. Then हम थोड़े से आते हैं, मैंने कहा आप जब भी इन टूल से रिएक्ट करते हो, सॉरी इंटरेक्ट करते हो, तो द बिगेस्ट प्रॉब्लम इज योर secrecy and privacy. You know why I'm saying secrecy and privacy? Whatever you prompt you type, whatever responses you are getting, okay, that is always in terms of security, they are always at stake, right? So how to protect yourself and still use these tools? So there are frameworks available. Okay, I will show you two. Okay, any one of these two frameworks you may try later on your own. So the very first framework is LM Studio free download. Okay. So simply Google this LM Studio free download. The very first link will take you to the download link. Okay. Let's say you are using Windows. Okay. So if you are using Linux, if you are using Mac, okay, accordingly you can pick anyone. Simply click on this download button and install this utility on your desktop. Okay. Don't try it on your mobile phone. It won't work. Okay. Problem is we want everything on mobile. That is not possible in this case because this utility is a resource hungry tool. Okay. It will require a lot of resources, computing resources. So minimum i7 processor with minimum 8 GB of RAM, 16 GB is there, then which is good enough. Okay. And sufficient amount of hard disk is the need for this particular tool. Okay. And then what you can do, you go on installing some free and open source model in this framework. Okay. Once you have done this, okay, later on you don't require anything else. Even you don't require even the internet connectivity for playing with this model. I will show you, I have installed it on my machine. I will show you the demonstration. That is how it works. Right. So let me show you the demonstration of this LM Studio. Here it is, LM Studio installed on my machine. I am executing it. Okay, it will take a little bit more time. All right. अब देखिए, ठीक है. Now what I did, I installed this LM Studio along with two open source model. Okay, what are those models? Those models you can see here. That is Llama 3.2 and Gamma 2. So I can play with any one of these model by simply clicking. Okay, let's say I've selected this one, load model. That model is being loaded. As you can see here, it is being loaded Gamma. अब यहाँ से आपको इंटरनेट भी नहीं चाहिए. So whatever communication you will have with this tool or this model, it will be between you and your PC. Okay. So there is no threat to your privacy and secrecy. I hope you are getting me what I intend to say. So whatever model you type, let's say you want to do some confidential work, you may do so by using this model, right? So this is a fantastic framework, okay, for safeguarding yourself from undue privacy or secrecy issue, right? So you can type here whatever you intend to AI innovative. Now here onwards, even you don't require internet connectivity. Okay, that is the beauty of it. Okay. Now it is working on it. Now, whatever responses you are getting, again, it will be stored on your local machine, not on any cloud, right? So this is one tool, fantastic tool, that is LM Studio. 4.2 is the latest version, 0.4.2. No subscription fee, nothing needed. No internet needed in this case, right? So this is LM Studio. Okay. On the similar line, we do have another platform, what they call it as Olama. ठीक है, तो हम ओलामा भी सिमिलर प्लेटफॉर्म है, उस पर भी हम बात करेंगे. देखिए गैमा 2 ने इस पे काम करना शुरू कर दिया, for your user query, and now it is giving me the response 36%, 54%, and so on. Okay, then you may copy, okay, paste, whatever you intend to do, you can do anything with that. I hope we are connected and you people are with me. The biggest problem with this online.
Yes, sir. We are connected and we are listening.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Very nice session is going on, all
Thank you,
practical and technical.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So this is one tool. I hope you like it. That is LM Studio. Okay, wherein you can interact without even internet connection. Once you need to download, install, that and done. Okay. Now it is giving personalized learning, intelligent tutoring system, and whatnot. Okay. So I will close this. I'll show you something else. Okay. And what is that else is Olama. Okay. So on the similar line, you can go to Olama. Same way you have to approach this. That is, go to Olama free download. Okay. Name of the tool is Olama free download. All right. So download Olama on Windows is the first link. All right. So you may download it for Mac OS, Linux, or Windows. Let's say yours is a Windows. So download for Windows, install it, double click it, one executable file will be installed. And once you are done with that, then you need to populate it with some free and open source models. So मैंने ये सब करके रखा है, otherwise it will take 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes for the installation and all. Right. I have installed it on my machine. I will show you on my desktop. Right. But again, the issue is very resource hungry. You have to have minimum i7 processor, 10 generation onwards, with 8 GB of RAM and sufficient amount of hard disk. Okay. Don't try it on your mobile phone. I am showing it on my. Yes. So, Olama. Right. Now I am opening it. So this is exactly parallel to LM Studio, but it is comparatively having more number of models. That is why I am showing it again. Okay. So right now I have installed only one open source model here, that is Llama 3.2. Okay. But you can download as many as Quen, okay, whatever you feel like, okay, by simply clicking on this download arrow key. So click it, install it, and you are ready for the show, right? So right now Llama is there. So you can interact with this Llama on this area, type the prompt, okay? No internet connection, nothing is needed. You are completely safe and secure. Okay, but only open source model will work in this case, not all models. Okay, so there, but again, there are hundreds of models open source. Okay, you need not have to worry. So this is Olama. All right. Now, apart from this, I don't think that we have sufficient time, but you may note down some tools which will help you a lot, okay, in your research journey, like say PaperPal, Okay, since we do not have time, I will not show you exactly the demonstration. Paper pal. Okay. Then you may try Thesify. Okay, which will give you feedback on your thesis. Okay. Then there are many, as a matter of fact, but since we do not have time, okay, so because we need to interact with you at the same time, because I have talked a lot, but if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer. So one of them is the Mohara. You may try this Mohara as well. Then let's say you are attending this meeting and you want to have your assistant. Okay, most of the time what happens is you want to record the entire transcript, what is going on in this meeting. Okay, so there is a tool called Granola, Granola. So this Granola assistant will log in and it will take notes of the entire session. Okay, on the same line, we do have Otter AI, that is OTTER, okay, and so on. तो ग्रैनोला भी आप ट्राई कर सकते हो, जैसे कि आप अभी नोट्स ले रहे थे बहुत सारे लोग या कुछ लिख रहे हो, आपको पता चला कि भाई इसको पूरा टेक्स्ट के फॉर्म में ही चाहिए, so it will create notes for you entire session, okay, in the form of transcript, okay, and that you can download and later on you can go through it. Okay? So this Granola is for that purpose. Then Otter is again there, OTTER, Otter AI. Okay. So this is all from my end. 5 to 10 minutes I have intentionally kept for question hour or deliberations, right? तो मुझे यकीन है कि आपके भी दिमाग में बहुत सारी चीजें चल रही होंगी, तो it's better to interact on all those issues. Okay, some of you may come up with an argument कि sir, these tools are highly dangerous. I do agree. Okay, there are nations wherein some developed nations, particularly European countries, they have banned the use of some of these tools, okay, because it is creating a problem for innovation and creativity. All those issues are there. But my personal take is, see, whenever something new come up, okay, we normally have these kind of repercussions. But ultimately, it is up to you to decide. Okay, you can set your own boundaries. As I have told you, that is, one should not use it for idea generation. But you can definitely use it for literature survey. You may use it for crafting prompts. Okay, and so on. So there is nothing wrong in that. Okay. So
Okay,
yes,
sir.
yes. So what do you say?
Yes. Sir, anyone having any question, you can raise the question or you type in the message box. All the participants, if you have any question, you can type in the chat box.
या आप भी सकते हैं. There are two possibilities. I will not explicitly say.
Sir, session
We are
was
all
very
teachers, sir.
interesting. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you, sir.
Yeah, okay. And
Thank you. Thank you.
okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes, yes, please.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, very much.
Yes, sir. Session is very clear and we understood everything, sir, that you explain us. Most of the times we are just clicking the Gmail and seeing the inbox emails and all that things. But you show the all these advanced application for us, and that's very wonderful to us, sir. And my
you.
question is related with the chemistry, sir. Most of the
Okay.
times what happens, sir, there are softwares which are said to be free, but when
Okay.
we get down that they are having the some that means free trials, pay 99 rupees and all that things. So is there any chances for free software for chemistry, sir?
Chemistry, I'm really sorry. I'm not exactly, I'm not pen down exactly, but see, you need to search tools which are, say, for example, right now this LM Studio I have shown you, and then
Yes, sir.
I think this Olama again, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these two tools provide you adding up some free tools, free and open source tool. Okay. Now the another question which you raised, there is some subscription fee attached to all these tools.
Yes,
Right?
sir.
There is a reason to it. Okay. We don't know exactly how much amount of money is spent on training these models. It is in millions of dollars. Right?
Yes.
Say for example, GPT-3, it was $78.4 million. Right? So that itself, that's a huge amount. From where they will get it? Okay. And why they are initially they are giving us free? है ना, जियो के सारे प्लान आपको इनिशियली फ्री थे, अब आप 350 रुपए महीना देते हो, ठीक है, फॉर द सेम थिंग, राइट? सो इनिशियली so as to attract you, okay, initially they are free, but most of them, since the development cost or the training cost is so high, okay, you have to have some paid subscription for it, है ना? और जो मैंने आपको फ्री एंड ओपन सोर्स वाले टूल्स बताए हैं वो नेचुरली मिलेंगे आपको, जैसे एक मैटलैब होता है ना, मैटलैब आपने सुना होगा,
MATLAB. Yes, sir.
हाँ, तो ऑन द सिमिलर लाइन वी हैव अ स्काईलैब जो कि कंप्लीटली ओपन सोर्स है,
Okay, sir.
SCILAB. तो हर चीज, मतलब जो जो प्रोडक्ट आप लाइसेंस वर्जन में देख रहे हो उसका इक्विवेलेंट ओपन सोर्स में अवेलेबल है ना? अब आपके केमिस्ट्री में मुझे एग्जैक्टली पता नहीं व्हाट एग्जैक्टली यू वांट टू आस्क, लेकिन डेफिनेटली देयर मस्ट बी सम टूल्स अवेलेबल, दैट इज फॉर श्योर, दैट इज फॉर श्योर.
Okay, sir. And our humble request, sir, please share your email ID and mobile number. If
So
in case there is any technical query, we will ask, sir.
Yes, definitely. Okay, I'll put it in the chat box. My
Yes, sir.
email ID is mohd.atique@gmail.com, right? And my mobile number is 9823724560. Okay. So this is my contact details.
Yes, sir. Yes.
All right.
And thank you, sir. It's very fruitful lecture for us, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of MMTTC, Malviya Mission Teachers Training Center, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar, I, Dr. Sheikh Akhil, is honored to propose vote of thanks on the 5th day of 33rd NEP, Orientation and Sanitization. First and foremost, I sincerely thanks our esteemed guest speaker, Professor Dr. Mohd Atique sir, Senior Professor and Head PGDT, Computer Center and Engineering, Sant Gadge Baba, Amravati University, Amravati. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir has spoke on the current trends in IT, like artificial intelligence, intelligent system, soft computing, DL architecture, black box problems in AI, consequences of black box problems in AI, the solution glass box, XAI, neural network, deep learning, and many more things. And when we switch to the second session, sir totally started with the practical session, shows many tools which are very helpful for us and which can be used as in our research. Sir started with in Gmail, he has said untitled notebook software where we can learn, we can have a projects, we can have an audio videos in that, and so on. Sir also showed us Elite, Connect Papers, then Research, Rabbit, Open Router, Zapper, and many more things. Sir, it was very excellent lecture what you have given. We have learned a lot from this lecture. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for giving such a wonderful lecture. Now, I thanks Dr. Abdul Rafe, coordinator and host of this 12 days program. I also thanks Professor Dhanashiri Mahajan, Director, MMTTC. Thank you to all the participations for patience listening. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much once again to all the participants as well as the entire MMTC team, Director sir and Rafe sir and I think Shafi sir, if I am not wrong, right?
Yes, sir.
So yes, sir, thank you one and all, right? So it was nice interacting with you. I'll take your leave, okay? And happy learning to all of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Saurav, you can close the meeting. Or participants can leave the meeting. Now the session is over. I declare the session is over. Saurav, close the meeting. All the participants are requested to leave the meeting. The session is over. Saurav, please close the meeting. हो गई सर मीटिंग क्लोज कर दीजिए चलिए बोलना भी पड़ा बेफिक्री से देके सेशन अपने तरफ